What TV show was amazing at first but became unwatchable for you later on? Once upon a time, the first 3 seasons were good. And then after that they just kept getting worse. Castle. By the end of filming, the 2 main leads hated each other. And you can tell. They had to come up with wacky storylines to keep them apart. Heroes. Season 1 was great and fresh. Season 2 didn't know what to do with itself and just started giving everyone superpowers. By season 3, characters were just changing motivations at the drop of a hat, and it was just a huge mess of bad writing. The Blacklist. So many loopholes in a never-ending plot. I mean, the female hero, forgot her name, was wanted and had her pictures broadcast nationwide live. But a couple of weeks after she can do undercover work. Arrow. It's what happens when you try to make so many seasons for a show meant for only a few. Not the worst offender. But that 70s show tanked pretty hard once Eric left. He was sorely needed to make the chemistry of the group work. What's a weird smell you're willing to admit you like? Water coming out of a garden hose. The combination of polyurethane and the metallic ozoneness of the water is heaven. Back in the old days. The smell of papers that the teacher handed out that were fresh off those old hand-cranked mimeograph machines. The solvent. Fired cap gun. And that blue copy ink from grade school. The smoke fireworks leave behind. One of my favorite smells. New tires in the shop. That smell when you walk into a hotel with a pool. What kind of person would you never be friends with? People that distort what you said. People who are overly rude and constantly laugh it off and call themselves assholes, as if it is an uncontrollable character trait. People who can never admit they're wrong about anything, no matter how blatantly wrong. The kind that talks behind your back. Someone that puts you down in front of your other friends, as a joke. People who abuse your trust and honesty to manipulate you, especially when they disguise it so well. Had it one too many times. Thankfully gets easier to spot, but some people are freakishly good at it. What do you think people actually deserve to be shamed for? Knowingly spreading lies about someone. Leaving piss on the toilet seat when you have guests. Littering. Edit. I've seen Super Troopers. It's fine. I like the bear fucker joke better. Being mean to your server when you go out to eat. Being entitled and treating customer service workers badly. Entitled rudeness. Why are you an atheist? Because I was born into the Mormon cult who claim they are God's chosen people. Turns out they are just typical self-absorbed gullible cultish scumbags with straight-up goofy doctrine that they don't even believe. God made me that way, lol. It didn't make sense to me as a child. But no one would answer my questions. I was told, we don't question, we just believe. If it was real, why couldn't you give me rational explanations for my questions? The people in my church were always going on about accepting Jesus Christ into your heart, and he just didn't want to enter my heart. I never felt any spiritual connection with religion, and it seemed illogical and even hateful in some cases. Because no one has presented hard proof that there is a God. Why wouldn't I be one? What possible reason could I have for believing any of it? A bunch of 2,000-year-old morality tales. With very dubious morals. And a lot of traditions? Human words on human paper. That's not going to sway me in the slightest. As far as I'm concerned. Someone ate the wrong mushrooms in the desert 2,000 years ago and had a pretty amazing trip where they thought a shrub caught fire and talked to them. Someone else wrote down what they said, and now we can't have abortions and basic human rights for gay people. When I was young, like before the age of 8, Life was good and I always thanked God for giving me a safe and happy life. Not any particular God because I wasn't in any specific religion. But I knew of the notion of people believing in some higher power that controlled our world, and it was that being to whom I was grateful. My life took a turn when my biological mother became severely mentally ill. And from the age of around 10 onwards I've just suffered endless abuse and trauma. It's happening even right now. I've asked myself so many times, if God really did exist, then how could he let this happen? How can any benevolent God let parents treat their children this way? As I aged and saw more problems with the world, that question only got louder in my head. There's no way an omnipotent and benevolent God would allow the world to be this way. People suffering left and right. It just can't be. Innocents who've done nothing wrong do not deserve to suffer like this. Why is this happening? So now I don't believe in God. Who was your celebrity crush as a child? It was and still is Christina Ricci. Kimberly, the pink Power Ranger yummy face. Salma Hayek. 25 years later, still Salma Hayek edit, spelling. Leonardo DiCaprio. I cried so hard when I was a kid and my mom told me Kate Winslet was getting married. I thought her and Leo were in love IRL because of Titanic. And I thought she broke his heart. I was a dumb ass. Shakira. Based on the responses. I'm fucking old. I had 2 crushes: Soleil Moon Frye, Punky Brewster, and Danielle Fishel. Topanga. Redditors older than 30. If you could go back to when you were 20 and do anything with your life, what would you choose? I would have accepted the offer to work at a startup called Cisco. I was offered a well-paying job with nice stock options. At the time not many realized it would take off. I would have been a multimillionaire. Choose a different major in college. Was never able to get a job in my field due to lack of experience. Go into a trade or cybersecurity. Start taking my health seriously. I wasted my 20s being pretty unhealthy and unhappy with myself. I tried to convince myself that I was comfortable in my own skin to justify shitty choices in regards to my weight. I'm 24 pounds down and counting. I really see myself staying on track this time around. All I wish is that I had done it sooner. Maybe don't become a nurse. Not sell my rock collection. What are some things you thought were signs of wealth as a kid? A 2-story house and a refrigerator with an ice maker. In-ground swimming pool. Very clean house. Not obese. Kids who could afford to buy books at the book fair in elementary school. Kids who had Lunchables for lunch, especially the ones with a Capri Sun and cookie. Having a trampoline or swimming pool. Having birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese. Subscribe, my brothers.